Alright, so I finally just finished Crackdown 3, and man, I think I'm ready to do a review. Let's get this thing started.
Moscow, Seoul, a whole new group of cities just got hit. It's chaos, and the intel we've got is shaky at best. These are dark days, Commander.
Don't worry, sir. We're here to light shit up.
After a week of memes and Metascore jokes, it was hard to jump into Crackdown 3 without being influenced by all the noise. Luckily, I was able to tune out everyone and anything concerning Crackdown 3 public feedback. I was able to play Crackdown 3 totally uninterrupted. After playing through 12 hours of his action-packed campaign, I knew for sure that there was a huge issue with Crackdown 3, a huge disconnect. So, how good is Crackdown 3? Or, according to Metacritic, how bad is it? And honestly, guys, I find the game pretty good, pretty decent. Actually, I'm lying. Let me be really frank with you guys. This game is pretty damn awesome and is better than advertised. And the Metascore on this game is just off. First, let's talk about Crackdown's story. Now, let's be honest, Crackdown is not going to bring you on this long narrative journey. You're not babysitting, you're not emotionally tied to anyone, you're not fighting for the love of your life. No, you're a super cop, and with the help of Terry Crews, you're a pretty awesome super cop. Crackdown 3 takes place 10 years after the events of Crackdown 2. A terrorist attack from an unknown source kills a power around the world, and the agency is thrusted back into action after the attack is traced to the city of New Providence, controlled by an elite organization called Terra Nova. After the agency's first strike against them fails horribly and kills pretty much the whole squad, your superpowered agent is called into action by the agency as a last resort to dismantle Terra Nova any way possible. So yeah, very cliche. Nothing to cry over, nothing that's gonna win any Oscars. Now, the one thing that should be award winner is Crackdown 3's gameplay. Yes, I know it's nothing revolutionary, but it's something about this gameplay that makes it very fun and addicting. I mean, Crackdown 3 retains the core gameplay of its predecessor, featuring a number of different groups controlling the city of New Providence that players need to take down by killing their bosses and kingpins, destroying their facilities, and destabilizing their systems. Players can use a variety of weapons to achieve this, from guns to grenades to rocket launchers, as well as their own physical powers. Players can also drive any vehicle found in the game, and you can also use those vehicles as weapons, literally throwing them at your enemies. The game features the skills for kills. That is back, where you use different types of weapons, different type of items to take down enemies, and you will gain orbs, and you would certain things that you do will rank up faster than others. Me, I'm a gunner. Explosive is like my primary use in combat. I love explosive, combat, and shooting. So those were the first three items I maxed out in Crackdown 3. And some people are better skilled at driving or climbing and jumping and leaping and pretty much practicing pretty much speed, and they'll get those agility orbs quicker. So Crackdown 3, that leveling up system is something about Crackdown's leveling up that is so satisfying. I don't know if it's the animation where you get that max level, or is it the sound, or just the look of all the orbs being absorbed into your agent's body. Is just such a satisfying feeling. I love it, and it just make you thrive for more. Crackdown 3 has like top-notch gameplay. It feels great, it looks great, and it's very fun. It's probably the main reason you're playing this game, because the gameplay loop is actually pretty fun. Now let's talk about Crackdown's graphics. You know, funny, this game caught a lot of flack for its visuals before its release, which is fairly odd. Crackdown 3 isn't meant to be, or any Crackdown for that sakes, Crackdown isn't meant to be this photorealistic work of art. Instead, it mastered the cel shaded look. It mastered the cartoon look The lighting is phenomenal. The HDR work is just amazing. Complements most high-end displays. You got to play Crackdown on a 4K HDR display to kind of get the full potential out of this game. It's very impressive. This visuals is nothing to laugh at. Crackdown 3 is a beautiful game in the art direction that it's aiming for. No, it doesn't look like no 360 game, none of that bullshit that you heard on the internet. Crackdown 3, it looks pretty damn impressive, and it complements most 4K displays that you could play this on. I've played this game on my Samsung monitor, my LG monitor, my Samsung TV, my Sony 900E TV, and it just looks great no matter where I've played it. Now, as far as the game's really weak point, let's talk about its multiplayer wrecking zone. Now, it's crazy that this is the weak point, as this is probably the reason this game was delayed so many times and why the game was in development for so long. The multiplayer is called Wrecking Zone, and surprisingly, it comes as a separate download when you download Crackdown from Game Pass, or if you buy it separately. It's a separate download. It has a separate, it boots up separately from the main game, and I don't understand why. It's not offering anything like large or anything like that. There's only about two modes, 3 maps. These modes are called Agent Hunter, which is a take on Call of Duty's Kill Confirm. It's really, you kill your opponent, they drop a tag, you collect it. The first team to 25 wins. Pretty basic, right? And then you have another multiplayer mode called Territories, which works like King of the Hill and Domination. Control the map, you win the game. The cool thing is that these maps are almost fully destructible, not 100% destructible, but the destruction is there. It's not as impressive as we saw years back when they were hyping the cloud, but it's there. It works in the multiplayer as you're trying to keep your line of sight on your opponent. It helps break down barriers and make these matches pretty interesting as you're fighting underneath rubbles and broken like shelving, broken pillars and all this other crap. But the multiplayer, honestly, I found it really fun. I enjoy the multiplayer. I'm probably in a minority. However, the issues with the multiplayer isn't really the destructions, the way the destruction is and how that operates. Is actually the fact that you can't invite your friends, which is a big no-no if you're an Xbox exclusive. Game invite should be there day one. I know they're working on that patch, but that's really kind of what hurt the multiplayer, because I planned on doing a stream with my podcast members, with my friends, and just going all out, having fun on a Saturday night. And at the moment, I can't do that because the invite system is not there just yet. The other thing about multiplayer is that even though it's very fun, there is no ranking order. There's no progression. So it's fun to play, earn some achievements, but there's no end game like leaderboard for you to really take in control of. There's no like honorary rank. You don't level up. There's no way to identify like, oh, who's the best, who's been playing this the longest, or anything like that. It's just a tacked on mode that's meant for you to play, but I don't think it has many legs for it. So you're not going to be playing this game for such a long time, at least the multiplayer, unless they plan on adding progressions and rankings and more modes and more maps. Other than that, it's very raw, very basic. However, it is fun as hell, and if you don't believe me, check out my previous streams on Crackdown 3. So let's get to the final verdict. With all that being said, where does Crackdown 3 rank? Is it really a 60 rated title? Is this game as bad as most of these questionable media sites are telling you? Honestly, I tried to relate. I tried to find the game breaking faults. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the source that made Crackdown 3 the worst game in the series. The gameplay is very addicting. Awesome neon visuals, HDR is remarkable, and the campaign is fun as hell with the amazing gameplay to complement it. The bad is the lack of multiplayer invites, and that the multiplayer is just raw and basic and really serves no purpose as far as replay value. Very low replay value on the multiplayer, and of course the unimpressive destruction. I would say the true con to Crackdown 3 is the fact that it took 6 years to develop this game. The wait was too long for not much of anything. Overall, the game is fun and entertaining. I'm not sure if I consider that a bad thing, but to be honest, guys, I really feel that IGN and GameSpot told you guys wrong. Crackdown 3, it's not a 5, it's not a 4, it doesn't look like a 360 game. It's a very fun, impressive looking game, and to be honest, I'd have to give this game an 8 out of 10. For more reviews, videos, reactions, check out the channel. Kids Move. Like, subscribe, or complain in the comment section. As always, Xbox is the best box, and I am the best spot. Good night or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. Peace.
Skills!
Skills for kills!
That never gets old. Listen up! Our target is New Providence. Now, she may look pretty, but this city is full of corporate gangsters, psychopaths, and butchers. We are diving head first into a viper's nest. But I promise you this, come tomorrow, we're all gonna be walking around wearing shiny snake skin boots. These sons of bitches wanna black out the world? Not on our watch. We are the goddamn agency. And the agency needs justice.
By any means necessary!
Okay. Someone give me my jam! This is it, agents! Time to make Daddy Duck cry! Stand tall, agent! Ain't nothing gonna take us down! We are the strongest, baddest ass kickers on earth! Quack, quack, motherfucker!
Commander, agents, do you hear me? Report in. That's an order.